Hello, all. Thanks for tuning in to Appointed Life Podcast, where you are encouraged and inspired to live life God's way by applying His Word. My name is Ernede, and I am so glad that you are listening. Today, I want to encourage you to surrender to the Lord the worries that you have been carrying from week to week. I realize that it is in our nature to hold on to things until we have found some type of solace. But as believers, one of the things that God calls us to is to live a life of surrender. Now, this call that God has placed before us is a call for our benefit, because God understands if you hold on to things, if you live in a state of worry, you will not advance in life, nor will you be able to complete the work that God has prepared for you, according to Ephesians 2 verse 10. The act of surrendering is the boldest move that you can make towards God. There are many who believe that what God asks of us is too much or restricting. But when you really think about it, all that God asks for us is for our benefit. Though we do not realize it in the moment or in the period of processing, we have to remember that His way is greater than ours. There are several definitions and actions associated with the word surrender. One of the definitions associated with surrender is to give something over to the control or possession of another, usually under duress. The definition makes mention of the word duress. Biblically speaking, the duress can be due to the war that is present between the flesh and the spirit. Galatians 5:17 says, "For the flesh desires what is contrary to the spirit, and the spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want." Now, because we are not in a position to do what we want, especially those things that is contrary to God, we are able to find solace in surrendering to God. When you surrender to God, you allow Him to assume control over the trying situation that you may be facing and are able to take on His peace. Oftentimes, many people view surrender as a form of weakness, but not with God. Surrendering to God is a sign of reverence and honor. Surrendering to God allows you to be an instrument for righteousness. The Bible says in Romans 6 verse 13, "Do not present your members to sin as instruments for unrighteousness." When you are always in a state of constant worry, when you are always in a state of trying to figure things out on your own, you are presenting yourself as an instrument for unrighteousness. Why? Because it gives the enemy a foothold, a way of giving you thoughts that are not your own to begin doing things that goes against the character of God. Romans 6 verse 13 goes on to say, "But present yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and your members to God as instruments for righteousness." So the idea of surrendering to God allows you to be used as an instrument for righteousness. Surrendering to God is a sign that you trust Him and His timing. It shows that even though you feel like you know what's right, you understand that God knows best. Listen, set yourself up this week with surrendering your problems, your worries, and your concerns. Whatever it is that is causing you to take your mind off of Him, surrender it to God, because surrender grants you access to peace. So let this week be a week where you present to God everything that you've been holding on for control, and let God have control. Once again, thanks for tuning in to Appointed Life Podcast, and I pray that you have a blessed day.